We are back, FPL fans. Game week 22 is just around the corner on Tuesday, and here is my team selection video ahead of that game week deadline. I've waited to record this video till after the very last whistle of the FA Cup matches just to get as much information as I possibly can about double blank game weeks as well as FPL hot topics. So watch the entire video to get as much value as you can out of today, but let's hop straight into things with our goalkeeper and defenders. Now, a bit of a different image. Of course, my entire team is on your screens. I normally do this bit by bit, goalkeeper and defenders, followed by midfielders and then forwards, but slightly different today. I just want to get as much value down the camera lens to you guys, as much as information as I can give you within this short video, and let's give that a good go by starting off in goal with Dubravka and Areola. Of course, Areola gets the start this week, and you can see in the fixtures, obviously, that is why. Bournemouth at home compared to Aston Villa away for Dubravka. These two were picked just because of their rotation. That rotation comes into play next week when Dubravka and Newcastle have Luton, Forest, and then Bournemouth, whilst West Ham have the slightly harder fixtures of Man United, Arsenal, and Forest away. It's going to be a great rotation. Whether it brings us more clean sheet points, yeah, I'm not too sure about that looking at how teams are performing at the moment, but yeah, super unpredictable games. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the clean sheets of Dubravka. I think possibly 1 out of his next 4 games he gets a clean sheet, which I will be starting him for, so hopefully he pulls through for my FPL team. But yeah, the rotation works really well. The really cheap pair, and it's enabled me to do a lot with my team in the past weeks, but I'm just looking at the goalkeepers now and just hoping that a different option emerges. So in the future, when I wildcard, there is someone a bit more exciting to go for, as I'm not really loving the pairing that much, although the fixtures are really nice and the price is the best it can be. So let's move on to something also I'm not too pleased about, Colwill. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Chelsea and Colwill and why I don't really recommend bringing in Chelsea defenders or really Chelsea players full stop. Their next 5 fixtures, let's just read them out for you guys. We've got Liverpool away, Wolves at home, Crystal Palace away, Man City away, and then they blank. When they come back from their blank, they've got 3 hard fixtures off the bat with Brentford, Newcastle, and Arsenal. So it's really tough owning a Chelsea player across maybe the next 8 game weeks, to be honest with you. Really, really tough hold with these players, especially Colwill, not offering as much as attacking threat as someone like, a Ben Chilwell would in a Chelsea side, or a Reece James. But that's obviously reflected in his price point. And at the time, Colwill was the only defender who I was truly going to pick. But I think it's time for him to make his way out of the squad. Possibly looking at players like Walker and Estupinian. Estupinian is a really easy set and forget player. That is why João Pedro is in the side. Great fixtures across many, many game weeks to come. Good data. And I think Estupinian fits that role really well. That attacking fullback role in De Zerbi's side. Really exciting though with Walker. Now I'll tell you a little bit about Man City now. This is why they're so exciting to own and why I've got Foden in the team, because of their good fixtures coming up. They've got Burnley at home, Brentford away, Everton at home, Chelsea and Brentford both at home in a game week 25 double. Now, after that, they've got Bournemouth. They do not blank in 26. Another reason Manchester United assets are so attractive. And Walker is really getting quite a lot of minutes in that defence for Manchester City. Yeah, really, really exciting times to be a Manchester City defender owner. I know there's not a lot of people out there who own Manchester City defenders, simply because the rotation in that squad sometimes kind of gets you and it lets you down, but I feel as though Walker's quite a safe pick going into game week 22, and it's something I'm quite tempted by, although Estupinian does have a slight edge at the moment for me. Gabriel is flagged in the FPL app. Nottingham Forest away. Not a great fixture, but the way Arsenal are playing defensively is quite exciting. And the goal threat that Gabriel had in his last fixture just shows why Arsenal defenders are a good pick still, even if they let a odd goal in here and there. Defensively, fantastic. And the threat from the set pieces that Gabriel's shown us, yeah, it's a bit dangerous, and I like having a piece of that in my team. Alex Moreno, bit of an iffy one. Seemed like a good pick at the time, wasn't, but is slowly growing now into quite an attractive FPL asset. That is if Digne doesn't get his place back soon. If he remains injured and out of the team, you've got some good fixtures coming up, to be honest, and a cracking player. I think if you watch Aston Villa currently, yeah, he offers so much for them going forward, and he's just so quality, and I think that's what Aston Villa need on that left-back side. I'm not saying Digne didn't ooze quality, because within this season he has been class, but Moreno just offers something different going forward, and I really like that in the FPL asset. So hopefully he can start delivering quite a lot of points into the FPL team. But with the Newcastle at home fixture, Newcastle are a difficult side to beat, but the home fixture for Aston Villa is, a good sign for Moreno, and hopefully a clean sheet or some attacking returns come my way for owning him. Midfielders now, we have had a big change in personnel. Foden and Saka join the side. Palmer, of course, being one of the OGs and having him for many weeks. Palmer, I spoke about this with Colwell. His fixtures, yeah, it's not great coming up. Possibly a move out of the team around game week 25-ish. When he plays Man City away, you're going to get 3 fixtures from him before you really have to move him on. You've got Liverpool away, Wolves at home, and Crystal Palace away. Those fixtures seem fine for a penalty taker in a Chelsea side where he's getting a lot of minutes. So yeah, could be a hold for 3 weeks, could be a sell right now. I'm probably going to hold because I think there's other things I could do with my FPL side to make it better. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying him, especially because you're just not going to get that longevity out of him. You're maybe going to have him 3 weeks and then be like, bro, the fixtures coming up aren't looking great. But yeah, on the other hand, you've got someone like Foden who could be a great buy for you guys. I think you've got some good fixtures coming up really soon. And of course, a double in 25, which is looking absolutely fantastic. Both home games for Manchester City, Chelsea and Brentford, both at home. Hopefully Haaland is back fit so Foden can get a lot of attacking returns. He is most likely going to be my captain for game week 22 with that Burnley at home fixture, hoping for a few attacking returns. He is a quality player. He just needs to show it a little bit more in Pep's side and at times be a bit more greedy in my opinion. But yeah, he's a good FPL asset to own. I think with the fixtures and the double coming up, really attractive player to bring in. Saka, on the other hand, it's a bit of a 50-50 with him, it seems, at the moment. Some weeks he returns an assist or returns a goal, others he does nothing. But it's somewhat consistent in what he is doing and delivering in terms of points. So I think that's the attractiveness of Saka. You're getting a penalty taker who is consistently giving you points, whether that's clean sheet points, that 1 point does add up all across the season, whether that's the odd assist or a goal. You're not necessarily going to get a haul from Saka, it seems. It just doesn't feel like the right time for Saka to be doing that. The odd kind of chip in is what we're dealing with at the moment, and I don't mind it, as I suppose you're paying a high price for someone who's just getting a small amount of points here and there, but they do add up, and they add up really nicely. You could be looking at someone like a De Bruyne to come into the side, that double that I spoke about with Foden. That's if you think De Bruyne is going to come into the side and get minutes straight away and be a starter in game week 22. I'm somewhat sceptical of that. I don't think he's maybe going to start. He'll most likely come off the bench, but if he comes off the bench, I can see him getting a quite, a decent chunk of minutes just to get his match fitness back up and raring to go. We're seeing the quality against that Newcastle side. I don't think anyone doubted when De Bruyne comes back. He's just going to keep at that level, and he's shown that to us. And I think we can only look and hope he starts games soon and get him in early in our FPL teams. But yeah, I don't think now is the time for me to bring him in, but I do have a close eye on him because I do have the money to go from a Dingra on my bench to a De Bruyne, but the bench and headache starts to arise there. Yeah, it's easily probably the best transfer you can do if you think he starts, but I'm just not sure with that, and we don't have too much information on that at the moment. Salah, not a lot of information again. We know Trent is more likely to be starting. Robbo could be coming back into the Liverpool side as well, but Salah, we just don't have that information to give you guys yet. But the double in 25 that is most likely going to happen for Liverpool is going to be Brentford away, then Luton at home. A triple captain game week for sure if Salah is back. Possibly you're looking at someone like Darwin as well from a Liverpool point of view, but that is going in the forwards, and let's move on and talk about them now. Of course, it's time to speak about the forwards in this last section here. João Pedro, Luton away. Solanke, West Ham away, and Watkins, Newcastle at home. If I had to pick someone to be my captain this week, by the way, Foden is that person I would pick. I just think the upside is great with a fantastic fixture. It seems like he's getting great minutes at this moment as well. That's who I would pick. But if I had to pick a vice captain, and this is why I brought it up, João Pedro would be that person. And João Pedro I brought in for a hit last week. Of course, underwhelming because he blanked in that game week against Wolves, but he is sort of a set-and-forget player as well. I said this about Estupinian. The fixtures are there. I think he's getting quite a lot of minutes now. It's consistent. The numbers back him up. Yeah, I think it's a great little addition to the team. Although it didn't work out initially, I think in the long run, it eventually levels out and, you know, it becomes a profitable thing in FPL. I've took a hit, but I feel as though I will gain those points back in the long run, owning a player who was so cheap and becoming quite reliable for Brighton. On the other hand, you've got Watkins, who I'm not too happy with. It could be the person who I move on this week if I don't do that Colwill transfer. If Haaland is fit, I will be bringing in Haaland for Watkins. I'm just liking Solanke a little bit more as an FPL pick. You can kind of hold on and just, you know, get some of these good fixtures coming after game week 25 and 26. Watkins has kind of got a mixed bag of fixtures, some good, some meh. Yeah, I'm just not too sure. And with Watkins' output at the moment, I would just rather keep a hold of Solanke. And, of course, Solanke is a little bit cheaper. It lets me open up my options a little bit more midfield when Saka and, of course, Trent and players like that come back. It lets me spread funds a little bit more, and I think it is the right thing to do. The rotation next week comes up with Anthony Gordon. He has 3 good fixtures off the bounce, so really the theme in this video and what I want to target with my team is just making as little transfers as possible. I have 1 this week. I only want to make 1 or 0 transfers this week, but we're really just waiting on Haaland news. That's the most important thing in my eyes. If he is back, he is my target transfer, and will probably steal the captaincy armband off Foden if he is back and raring to go. But yeah, there's not much else to cover in today's video. Of course, we know that Brentford and Man City are doubling in 25. Luton and Liverpool are likely to join them as well. Tottenham and Chelsea blanking in 26. These are just some key things to be looking out for, and just something to keep in your head when planning your FPL teams. But yeah, that's everything for the team selection. That about wraps up today's video, so thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching to this point now in the YouTube video, I always recommend people subscribe and like the video just to get fed more of my content if you would like to see more of me on your YouTube screens. But that is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.